Good morning. My name is Elisa Castillo, and this is my reflection on our qualitative research analysis course. So far, I have to say that this course has been very enlightening. The most powerful learning moments for me have definitely been the type of research, understanding the type of research that I would like to use when I do my dissertation. Um, I'm definitely going towards the qualitative and quantitative approach, combining both. Um, I have to say, one of the epiphany moments for the course were three of the reading uh, research literature that we had to do the analysis. Excuse me. Definitely, the parents as help laborers was one. Dr. Choi's research was also one that I found very interesting because it kind of, when I was reflecting on it, it really hit a lot of notes and combined what the parents as late as help laborer and what she was saying about the what the expectations of teachers are as it pertains to parent involvement. Um, Dr. Choi's article really resonated with me because I included myself in her article and what I went through when I was one of those uh, parent volunteers that couldn't make it all the time because of work, because of whatever life had for me, but tried, really tried. Um, what I liked most about the parents as help laborers was um, the questions, right? The outcomes of all the research questions that were asked from the teachers, from the school staff, of what their expectation was as it pertained to parent involvement, right? What their expectation was and what the reality is, right? Definitely, um, those two articles really impacted me because it kind of brought me back to my own personal experience. Um, the Woman of Color in Academy was also another article from Johnson and Bailey that I found very interesting because it also touched home for me. Right, I'm looking at my own experience, my own higher ed experience, and looking at most of my professors. Right, there was definitely not much diversity in the higher ed. In my experience with higher ed professors, I always saw the same standardized male, I would say, professors in my coursework, right? And even now, I have to say, even in St. Peter's, my experience so far has been the same. So, the article really again touch really hit home, right? Because I kind of took the experience from the article and the research questions and the outcomes of the research questions and kind of looked at it through my own lens, and it really resonated that a lot of the thematic nuances were the same, right? Let's see. I have to say also the fact that the qualitative research really gives an in-depth view of what you want to know, whatever whatever question it is that you're researching, whatever question it is you want to respond. It really gives you an insider's view, right? Um, I also find that selecting participants is important, but it has to be a wide range, right? Not just the same old type of participants. You have to have diversity in your selection of participants. You have to have diversity in your questions. What are you asking from them? And I also like the fact that with the qualitative research, you can look at specific themes, right? Similarities in the responses, right? And kind of use that data to say, although I have X number of participants, there is a theme in their responses, right? Um, Data collection, I really, it was interesting to see that the type of data collection that can be done using qualitative research is, it's really, you can really dive into, again, the themes, but also with the difference of quantitative data, which is numbers, right? You can also code it in a specific way um, to get that number effect in qualitative data. Um, the analysis, again, definitely identifying common characteristics in the data, right? Common themes. Um, but most of all, I like the personal touch of the qualitative data. And I think that really is fascinating, specifically if you want to really dive into what you want to find out about your theme, or whatever you want to find out about, right? Getting that personal perspective. Um, the only drawback, I'm not going to say the only, but a drawback that I could find, that I could see happening would be with qualitative research is that me as the researcher, am I going to be biased to the responses that the participants give to me, right? Um, and I know that in the Gundy and Johnson article, African American professionals in higher education, one of the discussion questions was that, right? Do I think that as like as a researcher, my own biases would kind of skew the data? Um, i think i think it does not, and that's just my personal opinion. I think it does not, because as a researcher, if I am doing, ethically, right, if I'm trying to find the data or response to a question that I may have, I want the truth, right? Um, but I can see also how it can be perceived as that the researcher can skew the data. But I personally think that that is definitely not an issue. But I think it depends on the researcher too. That's what I think. Um, and it also depends on what you're researching. That can also be impacted. Again, qualitative research for me, it really hones in on not only the participant's personal experience, but also you can relate to it as well. But also being careful not to take your own personal experience and let it overwhelm the data, right? I think that's really important. Overall, I have to say that so far, I've really gotten a hands on personal experience on what I want to do for my dissertation. Thank you. And please excuse my cat.